Now, can I let you know that man's life is characterized into different times and seasons? For everything a man is to do on earth, there are allotted times and seasons given to it. So if you miss your time and seasons, there are certain period in your life, if you miss your times and seasons, it will take you a very long time to recover. That's time's priorities. So now, there's an old man I knew. There's an old man I know currently that stays beside my place. Why? Just stay. So this old man drinks and smokes and comes and beg people for money. And I was talking to someone, I was like, this is a mysterious priorities. At this point, you should have built men. At this point, you should have trained your children to become people of tangible substance. At this point, you should have trained men and you should have built a legacy. A relationship, that's a romantic relationship, can either be a distraction or can be an amplification to your drive. Now, distraction is the sense when you are not emotionally matured, when you are not physically matured, when you are not financially matured, when you are not mentally matured. It will be a distraction. Or when you are... Hi guys, this is O.O.FORTUNE, Fortune for food. I do talk on motivation and personal development, and then where we can make ourselves more better at the time. And this is actually my first YouTube video, so tune in. Let's make ourselves better. Let's become better versions of ourselves. So for this short YouTube video, I'll be speaking on the seasons of a man's life. Now, can I let you know that man's life is characterized into different times and seasons? For everything a man is to do on earth, there are allotted times and seasons given to it. So if you miss your time and seasons, there are certain period in your life, if you miss your times and seasons, it will take you a very long time to recover. That's time's back. There are 3 stages of a man's life in which you ought to optimize times and seasons. So now, number 1, the morning season. And what is a morning season? Your morning season is between when you are becoming first a child. So during that period when you are becoming first a child, you are learning to walk, you are learning to talk, you are going to school, you are receiving information, you are receiving knowledge, you are processing information, you are understanding how the world works, you are understanding how systems of this world works. So that's like, I would say the morning season is divided into 2 seasons. The first stage of the morning season and the second stage of your morning season. So your first morning season is when you are learning how to walk. Your first morning season is when you are learning how to talk. Your first morning season is when you are relating how to blend in life. So this morning season is where you have to optimize everything you have around you and put it towards learning. Put it towards receiving information, processing it, and giving it out. This first stage in your morning season should be the season in which you are trying to live, you are trying to understand how the earth works. And during this morning season, during the first stage of your morning season, what you should be doing is receiving information, getting to exploit your gifts and skills. And this is the first stage of morning season should be from 0 to 13. From 0 to 13. So from age 0 to 13, you are receiving information. So from 0 to 13, you are receiving information, you are processing information, you are understanding how life works, you are going to school, you are taking so much information and becoming better at yourself. So when from age 0 to 13, you should be finding gifts, something special that you know how to do. From age 0 to 13, you should be finding things that you know how to do and be very good at. Now, the second stage of the morning season. So the second stage of the morning season is when you are now becoming mature. Is when you are now becoming a teenager, which is from 14 to about 30. Even 30 is too much. You are not supposed to be in morning season in 30. Let's say from 14 to 25. So from 14 to 25, you are to begin to take responsibility for your actions. You are already becoming a teenager. You're already experiencing puberty. So this second stage of your morning season, it is the time when you are beginning to take responsibility for your life. You are probably in junior secondary school, moving to the senior secondary school, and you are knowing your course to study. You are knowing whether it's to go into science class, you are knowing whether it is to go into art class, whether it's to go to different departments in your school. Now knowing what to study, you are having a glimpse of what you are to do. Now to optimize this season, to optimize this second stage of your morning season, is to go for knowledge. Is to go for knowledge, because especially if you are born in an environment that doesn't reflect success, especially if you are born in a very rural environment, where there's no money, there's poverty everywhere, where not everybody has the same mindset of smallness, when everybody has the same way of thinking and there's no way to move forward, this season is where you accumulate too much knowledge. Try to live your environment, learn your life, learn yourself. I mean, this season is where you get to know yourself on better, what you are good at, begin to pick in things that interest you, begin to find your skill. That's the things you know how to do and things you feel naturally attracted to. So this season in your life is where you begin to navigate through life and begin to know more and begin to, I mean, the essentials of your morning season is information, knowledge, taking so many things. So in this your morning season, you are getting to know more. This your morning season, you are getting to, know life. You are getting to do all sort of things. So now this your second stage of morning season. You have to spend it investing in knowledge. You have to spend it investing in knowledge. Get it in investing in skills. Now there's something I used to say. My first child will not probably go to lesson after school, because I think we are wired I think our parents are wired to think that it's only formal education in a sense that only school education a child needs in this season, which isn't possible. You see, you can tap into the child's uttermost potential when the child is picking up interest in certain things, and you can't dull that interest with school. You see, you make advances in a child's life when you begin to give him liberty to do things that interest him. So this season is when you begin to pick out certain attributes in your child and give him the space to express it. This season is when your child begins to find out that he knows how to drum, or there's a skill he knows how to do. This is the time to give him the space to grow. So now this is the second stage of your morning season, is where you begin to get your skill, is when you begin to optimize season. Now in middle of that, when you become 18, when you become 19, you should know your purpose. When you are 19, you should know what you ought to do. When you're 19, you should be done in secondary school and be prepping to go into the tertiary institution. So when you are 19, 18, 20, you should know your left from the right. You should know your left from right. You should know that you are to be in school. You should know that you should know your purpose. You should know your lights from your right. You should know your rights from your left. And if you're not pursuing school due to one reason or the other, you should have a skill that you are learning, or that you have learned, or you are planning to learn. I know some persons that are 20, 25, and I ask them, there's no skill they have. How do you plan to survive? Especially in an economy like Nigeria. In an economy like Nigeria, having no skill, I don't see any way you can survive. You can't just survive on a job. You should have a skill that you can do that can exchange value for money. So when you are 19, 18, you should have a skill that you have learned or you are planning to learn, and not just school. Now this is the difference between saying school is scam, or the difference between saying between saying how school is legit. So school, now imagine your purpose as a pencil. Now work on this with me. Imagine your purpose as a pencil, and that pencil can either be sharpened, or a razor blade can also be used to sharpen it. So school is a way to sharpen your purpose and your gifts, not a way to make it in life. I know some people will have controversial ideas, but this is my standpoint on school. School is a way to sharpen your purpose and your gift and make you more presentable to the outside world. So school is not a way of making it in life. That to go to school is not a prerequisite that you are going to make it in life. So at 19, 18, before even thinking about university education, you should have a skill that you can boast of. You should not be clueless about life. You should know purpose. You should know what you ought to do. So if you are 19, 18 and you're still clueless about life, what's the purpose of becoming an adult? There's a reason why 18 is the age when you become an adult. When you become an adult is when you begin to recognize life and you begin to know what you ought to do. So if you are 20, 21, 22, 23 and you don't know your purpose in life, now there was a video I posted on my TikTok and I emphasized that don't just go to tertiary institution because it is the normal way. Like I said, school is a way to sharpen your purpose. Now, everybody go to school for going sake. Everybody go to school for, I just want to be versus the next stage of my life. Not because there is a purpose that needs to be sharpened. Not because there is a reason. Not because there is a quest to make yourself better. So, School is not just go because it is a society facade. School is not just a way to just go to just run away from home. No, school is there as a way to sharpen your purpose. So when you are done at 16, 17, 18, 19, you should be done with your secondary school. Then moving forward, you shouldn't be in a haste to go into tertiary institution. Get a skill, polish it, and let it define you. Then you are into tertiary institution already. So now, the afternoon session, the afternoon seasons of your life. Now, back to the morning seasons. The major thing to do in these morning seasons of your life is to study. And when I mean study, it is not limited to the school curriculum. It is not limited to the 4 hours of just. So how you maximize your morning season is by giving. Now, I'm speaking from a Christian perspective. This is what you do in your morning season to maximize your relationship with God and maximize your time to finding purpose, maximizing your time to, make sure you are the best version of yourself. And if in your morning season you are, maybe because of, as a result of your puberty and hormonal imbalance in some sense, you are looking at getting into a relationship, I'm telling you that you are making the wrong decisions of your life. At this age, you don't need a relationship in your morning season. You do not need a relationship. The best thing you can do for yourself in your morning season is to stay away from distractions. And mind you, I'm saying the morning season is from 0 to 25, and there are 2 stages, as I said earlier. So this season is when you are to stay away from distractions, follow God and serve God diligently, and invest in yourself. So now, the afternoon season is when you begin to labor on the knowledge you have gotten. I made a short video and I posted on YouTube, and I said that knowledge is not just for taking in. Knowledge is not just for reading or for anything or to show that you are reading. Knowledge is for producing results. So if anything you are taking in, any information you are taking in and is not producing results, it's dormant. There's no need of doing that. So your afternoon season is when you are out of school, you are done with your masters, you are done with whatever degree that you are following. And your afternoon season, it is when you are beginning, and your afternoon season is when you are beginning to produce results with this knowledge or what you are of your purpose that have been sharpened in school. Your afternoon season is when you begin to influence systems, and your afternoon season is when you begin to influence systems and structures of this world. Your afternoon season is when you begin to progress further and begin to produce mass results. Your afternoon season is when you are beginning to make impact. Your afternoon season is when you are beginning to see traces of growth. Your afternoon season is when you are beginning to produce results with everything you've learned. So your afternoon season, if you are learning in your afternoon season, it's a sign that you have missed your time and season. And if you are learning in your afternoon season, it will take you more double effort to produce results, because this afternoon season is when you're supposed to be producing results. So how do you maximize your afternoon season? Your afternoon season, probably when you are from 26 to about 40-50 weeks, is when you begin to build the legacy. Is when you begin to build people. Is your afternoon season is when you are beginning to build people. Is when you are beginning to build systems. If in your afternoon season you are beginning to learn or begin to find what purpose means, misplace priorities. That's why you see many people out there at 40, they don't know what is purpose. At 40, they all they know is go to work, go come back, and be paid. They are not giving back to the society. So your afternoon season is when you begin to build a legacy. Your afternoon season, I found out, and I've made several case studies of great men like Otedola, great men like Apostle Femi Lazarus, great men like Apostle Joshua Suleiman, great men like several other great men, and I found out that they are made good use of their morning season and their afternoon season. So what differentiates us from? So now you see, I posted something earlier and I said that we are struggling, or that we were born poor and we are struggling, is not a sign that we are going to make it an end well. What is the sign that we're going to make it an end well? It's a sign that we are producing results with the information that we have gotten in our morning season. So your afternoon season is when you begin to build companies. Your afternoon season is when you begin to stretch. Your afternoon season is when you begin to do great things. Your afternoon season is when you begin to stretch and do so many things. So when you begin to build your legacies, when you begin to build wealth. Now, I know there's some exceptions of people that have made wealth in their morning season. Now, I'm not saying that this, what I'm saying is the prerequisite for a man's life. What I'm saying is that if you understand time management and you know how to utilize times and seasons, you can compress time. You compress time by being focused and consistent and laboring early. Now that's why there's a Bible verse that said, "Oh God, satisfy me early." Now that's a so your afternoon season is where you begin to build your legacy. You don't build wealth when you're in your ninth season. You don't build wealth when you are just in your morning season, in your first stage of your morning season. As I earlier said, your afternoon season is when you are beginning to build on what you've been taught, and you are beginning to produce results on your purpose. It's when you are beginning to build it. It's when you are beginning to build your legacy. It's when you are beginning to stretch your hand and begin to expand your area and your sphere of influence. Your afternoon season is when you are going to that you are going to get great. Your afternoon season is where you are going to get good relationships, and one way to maximize your afternoon season is by maintaining good relationships. Maintaining good relationships. They are relationships that will be the door to your next level. You see, the Bible says, "No man by the flesh." So there are relationships that will be the opening door for your next level. So never despise any man, maybe probably because they didn't present themselves to you, didn't present themselves to who you thought they would be like. Look at the rich men that will go to around the world. They don't present themselves as, "I have this money, I have this." Just wearing casual t-shirt and jeans. I'm just walking on the street, and you won't know. So prioritize good and destined relationship. I see no reason in you having a relationship or any ships, friendship, relationship, partnership, or anything that does not give you value. I posted a short reel earlier, on my TikTok post, that the foundation of any ship, either friendship, partnership, or anything you are doing, should be shared values. I can't just do friendship because, oh, she's a fine girl. I can't just do friendship because, oh, she's a fine boy. There must be a value that draws you to this person. If not, you will make mistakes. So everything that should bring you closer to someone, that should make you start a ship, friendship, partnership, or acquaintance, or anything, should be on the purpose of shared values. If not, it will become a parasitic relationship. That's how you grow. So your afternoon season is when you are optimizing every wealth strategy that is going on out there. Your afternoon season is when you are building and making importance of your life. Now, the ninth season is when you have built your legacy. You have built men, you have built people, you have impacted lives that can now watch over the systems and structures that you've built. Men like Daddy Oyedepo does not need to go and be carrying the mic every day to preach. Men like Daddy Adeboye does not need to oversee so many things that is going on in the ministry. Yeah. So men like Big Girls don't need to go to the office every day. Why? Because there is already a system and structure. They are in their ninth season. What they are doing is preserving their legacy and be giving to the next person. Your ninth session is not when you start building. Your ninth session is not when you start acquiring wealth. Your ninth session is when you are built wealth and you are preserving your legacy. It's when you are investing and your investment is yielding. Your ninth session is when you can rest. Now, rest in some sense, I'm not meaning sleep or rest. Rest is taking a position of rest that I have people there, I have made this, I have done several things. So your ninth session should be a place in your life where you have achieved certain things. Your ninth season should be a place in your life where you can say, I have impacted this, I have built people. So if in your ninth season you have to still go and run out for your daily bread, it's a sign of misplaced priorities. You see, there's an old man I know currently that stays beside my place. Right, just stay. So this old man drinks and smokes and comes and beg people for money. And I was talking to someone, I was like, this is a misplaced priorities. At this point, you should have built men. At this point, you should have trained your children to become people of tangible substance. At this point, you should have trained men and you should have built your legacy. And in your ninth season, you should have built your legacy and taken a position of rest. So if you are now laboring in your ninth season, it's a place of misplaced identity. So now, with all I've said, take a look at your life. Take a look at your life. Are you in alignment with your time and season? Are you doing, see, as I said earlier, or when you are just finding out purpose and you are tactic, and when you are just or or when you're just finding out purpose and you are 22, you are looking for a relationship. What for? It will be a distraction. Now, how can a romance relationship be an amplification of your drive? Means that maybe, I mean, you have found purpose already, you are pushing already, you are beginning to, you are in your afternoon season, you are beginning to lay hold of what you have been taught and begin to put your knowledge into reality. It will become an amplification of your drive. It becomes your drive. It becomes a drive for you to push more, for you to make more impact. So absence for distraction. Now, from what I've just said earlier on, look at your life. What seasons are you? What season are you? What you know? See, let me tell you something. There are some of you listening to this video. There are some of you watching this video currently. You know that there are certain things that God has impressed on your heart. You know there are certain things that God has told you this season you have to do this, but you missed it. See, there are seasons in your life that once you miss, they will never come back. There are kinds of seasons. There are seasons that once they come and you miss it, they will come again. Just like maybe you're in your morning season and you skip some class. Maybe you're in public school and you repeated some class. I mean, you can always get the advantage to also retake the class. There are seasons that if you miss, you invest in these seasons and you miss out, another season can always come. Or maybe you're into crypto or forex trading and you're supposed to do some things at this time and you miss it. It can always come back again. But there are seasons, you see, there are seasons that if you don't invest on what you ought to do and you miss out, oh my God, you can't get those seasons back. No matter what you do, you can't get those seasons back. Just like when you're 9th season and you are trying to go back to school and go and learn, it's not possible. No matter what you do, your brain cannot process those thoughts again. Your brain cannot process hard things again. So there are seasons that once you miss in your life, you can never get it back again. That's why the emphasis is to stay away from distraction and maintain focus. Maintain focus. You see, if at the end of your life you have nothing to attest to the fact that you walk on earth, it's your fault. I know we say life always does this, that's life. That's not life. Life leaves clues around. If you cannot accept your responsibility and blame everything on life does this, I mean, that's a lame excuse. There are other people that have the same experience. You see, as a Christian, can I tell you that? Do you know why there's a term called the cloud of witnesses? Do you know why they are called cloud of witnesses? Cloud of witnesses are a witness to the fact that they pass through the same or even worse situation you passed through. Maybe they were your financial issue, maybe they were orphans, or maybe they were sick to the point of death. They all passed through these things and worse, and yet still made more impact, and yet still break through from their limitations. So, I mean, you have the excuse of not making something out of your life. If at the end of your life you can attest to that, you can't attest to anything that you need on. So, I mean, it's your fault. So that's how you grow.